What's happening, guys? Jim the Game Guru. Today's video, Forbidden Desert. Now, this is a really cool, simple co-op game that you're in a desert, you've crash landed, your airship has been broken up, and you have to find the pieces of your airship to escape. And while you're in this desert, you have the storm is just going crazy, throwing sand all over the place, and you are getting thirsty. The sun is beating down on you, making you more and more thirsty to the point where you could die. And if one person dies in this game, the game is over. It's one of those everyone wins together and everyone loses together. The game has got very simple mechanics, but it's really fun, and I like it because it's different. There are so many board games out there that you're trying to smash the other player's skull in, or you're trying to get more victory points by trying to make some smart plays. There's always some kind of slight competitive thing going on, or the game is just too simple that it's just not fun. But in this game, I think it has the right mixture of some light strategy elements, and you have that danger, the danger in the game, and you're trying to beat the game together. And I just love co-op games like this where you're working together with other players. It just gives you something different than trying to beat out somebody else all the time. Okay, so let's dig into the components. Let's do a quick how to play on it. If you guys are new here, please consider subscribing or following. All right, so let's take a look to see what we have on the table for Forbidden Desert. On the left-hand side, what we have is we have a components deck with gadgets. So this gadget deck will give certain gadgets to players as they go through the desert and they discover them. On the top left up here, we have a storm deck. Now this deck will have things like wind direction that will actually change the tiles on the grid, and will also populate the grid with more sand. Over here we have a sand pile. That sand pile will actually end up populating the grid in various places depending on the storm deck. Then we have this 5x5 grid where all the tiles in this 5x5 grid are turned face down. And the reason why they're face down is because as you go through with each one of your little meeples, you're gonna end up excavating the tiles to see what's underneath them. On the right side over here, we have airship components, and we have the base airship right here. And what's really neat is that each one of these components will actually just slide right on into the airship as you're discovering them. You can it's kind of interactive. It's not necessary. You don't have to do this, but it's kind of neat how they have these components that you can actually stick on the airship and simulate you building the airship back up in order for you to escape. The ship components will stay on the right-hand side. They are somewhere here buried in the sand after you crash landed, and you have to discover them. And how do you discover them? What happens is you're gonna find grid pieces as you excavate them that will actually point a certain row or a certain column. And then the intersection of the row and column from the two matching pieces that give you clues are going to tell you where these individual pieces are. And then what you need to do is you need to have somebody on your team go over there and capture that piece for the airship. Then each one of our characters have a unique role. Right now I have this set up for a 3-player game, and we have the explorer, the archaeologist, and the water carrier. The water carrier can carry more water. The archaeologist can actually dig out 2 sand on a tile, and the explorer can move clear sand and use dune blasters diagonally. Because in this game, whenever you move and you create actions, you're doing them straight, either vertically or horizontally. You cannot do it diagonally. Well, the explorer allows you to do it diagonally. Another thing you'll notice is that every character has a marker, and the marker is set to 2. This is the water level. So anytime a character gets thirsty when the sun beats down, because in this storm deck the sun can beat down, what happens is the water level can drop on each person every time the sun beats down. And if it gets down to here, boom, they are dead, game over, and everyone loses. So you need to keep track of your water levels when you're in this game. The actual player cards themselves don't really serve a purpose except for the water meter. They do have a reference on the back where it says, order of play, where it tells you you can take your 4 actions in what you can do as far as picking them apart, clearing sand, moving, excavating, etc. You can share water. You can also give water to other people. So if somebody else is in dire need of water, you'll notice on the grid that I already have sand set up, because in the initial setup, you need to set up sand just like this. If at any point during the game, any one of these tiles gets 2 or more sand on them, because the sand tiles have 2 sides. They have a regular side, and then they have one that's darker with an X. So anytime a tile gets 2 sand tiles or more, then you have to put that sand marker on the opposite side to let people know that that is blocked. You cannot have characters move across a tile that has a sand pile that's too tall. You can only move through tiles that are either 1 sand marker or none at all. All right, so let's go ahead and dig into the how-to for the game. The game is very, very simple as far as player actions. Each players get 4 actions. They can move, they can excavate, they can clear a sand marker if they want. The only way that you can actually excavate a tile is if there's no sand on it. So that's one thing that's very important to keep in mind. So we're going to go ahead and start with the Explorer first. The Explorer can actually move diagonally. So I'm going to move diagonally once. I'm going to use another action point to excavate this tile. Now here is one of the tiles that I said earlier that there are clues to where certain components are. And this particular one's going to give a clue that says the motor, I'm assuming, the motor is somewhere along this last row. Now we need to find the other one of these that gives you a direction of what column it is. So one does the row and one does the column. So it can be on any one of these columns. Okay, so that was what, 1 and then 2. And remember that the Explorer can move diagonally. That's why I was able to move diagonally here. So and then they're going to move diagonally again for the 3rd, and then the 4th final action. They're going to go ahead and flip this over. And ooh, this is just an ordinary tile that gives them a gear card. Okay, so they get a gear card and they get the Dune Blaster. So the Dune Blaster allows you to remove all sand from a tile or from an adjacent tile. So this Explorer will actually have a Dune Blaster now available to them to use at any time. It says play at any time. Does not count as an action, and discard to the box out of the game after you use it. All right, now that green has finished, what we do is we're going to end up drawing from the storm deck. So how many cards do we draw from the storm deck? And that is dictated by this meter. Right now I have this game set to a novice, which is down to here 2. This means that we draw 2 cards. As the storm begins to develop, eventually it can get up to 6 cards that we draw. You can actually start this meter higher when you're starting a new game if you want a higher difficulty in your game. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw 2 cards now that green is done. We've got this right here which says the wind blows straight up. Okay, so 1 tile. So this wind will blow straight up. Move that tile, and then a sand gets put on that tile. Next, we're going to draw the 2nd card from, oh, the sun beats down. Players each lose 1 water unless they're in a tunnel or in a solar shield. Well, that sucks. That's happened very, very quickly. So now the Explorer loses 1 water, just like that. The Archaeologists, well, man, they lose 1 water. Archaeologist and Climber are 2 roles that are very hard to keep alive because they only have 3 water. And then the Water Carrier goes down to 1. So how do we get more water in this game? That's one thing I didn't explain earlier. Now, there are actually 3 tiles in this game that have water markers, just like this. And you'll see a little water marker at the very bottom right. Now, those tiles will either be a well, where you can actually get water, or they could be a mirage. And there's only 1 mirage. There's 3 water tiles, 1 mirage. And then that 1 mirage is nothing, right? It's a mirage. The other 2 are the wells, and then that's how you end up getting additional water for your people. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and have the archaeologists go. They're gonna go down here. They're going to dig this out just like that. And they get a gear card. Oh, and they get the jetpack. Really awesome. This allows them to move to any unblocked tile. 1 other pawn on your starting tile may come along for the ride. Usually these gear cards, you're gonna save them until you absolutely need them. So a third action, they're going to go over here. And then for the fourth action, they're going to go ahead and get rid of this sand. Now, after red has gone, let's go ahead and draw the 2 cards. Oh, the storm picks up. Move the sandstorm meter up 1 tick mark. Start drawing this amount next turn. Okay, so this tick mark is going to go up 1 to this right here. And it's still in the 2s, so we can still only have to draw 2. And the next time the storm picks up, we're going to be into 3, and then eventually into 4. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw another card for them. This one says move 2 blocks down. Move 2 tiles down. This is going to go down 1 tile. This is going to go down another one. So this actually ends up getting a sand. And this right here, this tile where green's at, they get buried because it gets a second sand marker. And once you get the second, that means it's blocked. Green's going to have to excavate themselves out before they can actually move the next turn. They cannot move because they are technically buried. Unless blue decides to get them out. Hey, you know what? Blue might decide to get them out now. So blue is going to go ahead and move 1 onto this because the 1 sand marker is passable in this game. The only time it's not passable is if you have a second one like this. Then they're going to go ahead and spend 2 more of their action points to get rid of the sand here. So that is gone. And then they're going to spend their 4th action to move across like... Well, you know what? They're not going to do that. They'll spend their 4th to move up here like that. We're going to try to get over to the water if we can. All 4 of their action points are gone, so let's go ahead and draw from the storm deck. So we have a wind that moves the tile to the left. This one actually gets another sand marker on there. And then the storm picks up again. Dude, what is this? The draw from hell today? Man, every single, like, out of all these cards, we've had mostly storm pickups and the sun beats down already. Wow. Okay, so there we go. So this goes up to, we're to 3 now. So now we have to draw 3 on every single person's turn. Wow, that's amazing. I can't believe that. 3 of the 6 cards drawn have been like doom and gloom. Okay, so now we go back to green. So what's green gonna do? I think they're gonna move diagonally here and they're gonna go ahead and excavate. And they have another clue for one of the parts. So this is saying that this round part of the airship is anywhere on this particular column. And we just got to find the row that it's on. Okay, so that was 1, 2 for excavation. Now they're going to go ahead and use 3 to remove this sand. Now they're not gonna reveal this tile yet until everyone else can get to this tile in order to get some water. But they will go ahead and move here, and that way they're ready for it on their next turn. So now we have to draw 3 cards from the storm. Yeehaw! So 2 tiles come down from the wind blowing, but there's only 1 available, so only 1 comes down. Then we draw another storm card, 2 to the right, okay, for the wind. These 2 go to the right, and then we have another sand there blocking that. This actually gets a sand marker. And then for the third one, 2 to the left. Wow, what is the deal with the same tiles being constantly blasted with sand and movement? So those 2 go back. So this gets another sand marker, and this gets another sand marker. There you go. Wow. Okay, so green is done. Now red's gonna go. What are we gonna do? So red's gonna go 1, 2, and then 3, and then for the 4th, they're gonna excavate this, okay? And they got another clue for a part. There you go. The propeller is somewhere vertically in this column. Red is gonna go ahead and draw the storm. Wow, these 2 blocks right here are getting pounded with sand. That is ridiculous. Okay, so we got to do 3 to the left. 3 to the left. My God, 3 to the left. What is the deal with this? Dude, that's going to be a sand blaster if I've ever seen it right there. So 3 to the left. Now 1 more. All right, 2 to the left. But guess what? We can't do 2 to the left because the hole of the storm is right there. So there's no way to blow 2 to the left. Okay, that's the edge of the grid. Let me move this over a little bit more. Okay, so that was red. I believe that was red if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so for blue, let's go ahead and what are we gonna do? Let's go ahead and remove this for 1. Let's move over here. We're going to excavate this. And blue gets a gear card, just like that. Perfect. So they're right there. That's 2, I believe. And they get a solar shield. Very cool. You and other pawns on your tile may ignore the effects of sun beats down until the start of your next turn. And you can play this at any time. And I love how these gear cards can be played. A lot of them can be played at any time. It adds a little bit of strategic element in trying to stay alive. So 3 and then 4. So now we're going to go ahead and do the storm again. So 3 up. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. 1, 2, 3. They each get sand, but we're not buried. This is just single sand, but we do have to get rid of the sand marker in order to excavate the tile and flip it over. So that's the one bad thing about that. 3 down. Now we're buried. Jeez, man. That is insane. Okay, there we go. Just like that. And let's do one more. Sun beats down. Sun beats down. Wow. All right, so everyone is going to lose some water. This one goes down to 0. Their canteens are getting empty, man. And down to 0 here. And then down to 0 right there. Okay, so we're in dire straits here. This is not looking good at all. All right, so that was blue. I believe that was blue. So green is gonna have, the only thing I'm thinking about is, can we survive enough through red's turn? Can we get through green's turn so red can come up and reveal a possible well so that everyone gets water? I don't know. I'm hoping. Let's shoot for that. Let's see if we can do that. So green is going to go ahead and use 2 action points to remove these sand markers. And then they're going to use a third one to... Oh, actually, no, they're not going to reveal that yet. Then they're going to use their third and fourth one to remove these 2 sand markers. Now, we're going to pray right now that this is not another Suns Beats Down. Because if it is, it's game over. Blue can actually use a solar shield to protect these 2 people at any time. Unfortunately, they cannot protect the archaeologist, and it could be doom and gloom for the archaeologist. Let's see. So we move 1 left, which we can't because there's no way for it to move left. 1 down, and we can't because there's no way to move it down. Come on. Come on. Let's, hopefully this is not, and then it's 1 up, which is this, and this will get another sand tile. Wow, that actually worked out kind of well. All right, so here we go. So red's gonna go up 1. They're gonna go ahead and reveal this, which gives them another gear card, just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get another gear card. What did they get? They got time throttle. Take 2 more actions during a turn. Wow, but you have to play this on your turn. I might actually play this on my turn. I'm debating. I might do it. All right, so then we're gonna spend our third to come up here. Let's hope this is not a mirage. Okay, let's just pray. Okay, so let's see. Is it a mirage or is it a well? Oh my god, that is great. The 1 water spot that I picked out of the 3 is a stupid mirage. Okay, so those 2 up there are wells. So we have all these clues right now that are telling us where the parts could be, but we still haven't discovered any of the airship parts. Wow, I got a feeling this is going to be a swift death. Let's see. All right, so now the archaeologist is done. Let's draw for the storm. All right, 1 goes over here. And then we put a sand marker on there. So we have to draw 2 more cards. Let's hope that it's not doom and gloom. 3 to the right. Wow. So we go 3 to the right. And then those... Oh, wait a minute. Even that, right? Okay. So we got 1 there. We got to put another 1 there. We got to put another 1 right here. And then the last one is 1 up. Right here. It was just like that. So whenever the storm deck empties, you're just going to shuffle it and you'll have a new pile that you can draw from. So that is it for the archaeologist. Now we're going to go ahead and have blue go the water carrier. What are we going to do? What does blue have? Blue has a solar shield. I can use it to protect everyone right here. The only problem that I'm having is that once I move, I can't protect anybody, which is bad. So we're gonna go ahead and use 2 actions to remove this, and then we're gonna move up 1. for the third and for the fourth action, we will, oh wow, we revealed a tunnel and you get a gear card. That is really, really nice. And why are tunnels nice? Tunnels are nice because they protect you against the sun. So whenever the sun beats down, you don't have to worry about dying. All right, so we got Terrascope, peek under any unexcavated tile, play at any time, does not count as an action. Now, notice the word there is peek, so it is not a flip it over and excavate it. All right, so blue is done. Let's see if we end up dying. Storm picks up. Wow, storm picks up. So we're still in threes, so this goes up to here. Okay, now let's draw another one. 2 up. So 2 up. These two are going to go up. And then we're going to put some sand on them. And the next one is going to be what? It's death! Sweet! Hells yeah! I love that. It's awesome, juicy death. That is fantastic. Both the explorer and the archaeologist went down to negative numbers in their canteen. They are dead. Game is over. Yeah, I did not survive this at all. The only one who didn't take any thirst damage was the water carrier because they ended up in the tunnel. Obviously, if I was playing a real game, I wouldn't have been so reckless and just moving things around, but I just wanted to show you how the game actually plays. And we did not find any of these actual parts for the airship, but let's go ahead and just flip them over to see where they were, because just for fun. Let's see, where were they? All right, so this one right here shows that orange piece is in this particular vertical column. This right here is just another gear part. Let's see, what did this one have? Ah, there it is right there. This one had that piece right there, that round one. So if we had discovered this, the intersecting part between those two clues is where the part is. So this part was right here the entire time. But unfortunately, you cannot discover the part and actually pick it up until it's actually discovered on where it could be. So I'm going to get rid of some of these sand. I just want to see where the other parts are. So that's just another gear. Let me pull this off. I want to see what this is. Nope, just another gear. Let me pull this up. There's another clue. And there you go. The clue here is intersecting right here, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever been in a situation where the intersection is empty. Well, there's no tile there. I'm assuming that eventually when these tiles shift that you can actually put that on there. But that's a good question. I've never had that. I've never ever had that happen playing this game, that a part showed up where it wasn't intersected. But then again, I'm just revealing it now the way it is. These could have moved before I got to that spot to reveal it. So let's see where the other parts are. I'm just curious. There's the well, obviously, that we did not go to. Let's see what this is. That's another gear part. Let's pull this off. I want to see what this is. That is a launch pad, this right here. So this is the launch pad that everyone needs to get to at the end of the game in order to evacuate. Let's see what this is. This is probably gonna be another clue. We were probably so close to this. All right, so here we go. So here and here is the intersection. This piece was right there at the well. Let's see what else. Where's the propeller at? Propeller, nope. Where are you, propeller? Another tunnel. Now, the cool things about tunnels is that whenever you have 2 tunnel cards flipped over, and if they're unblocked, you can actually move from one tunnel to another in a single action point, which is actually fantastic. I'm guessing this is going to be another tunnel. Yep, there we go, another tunnel. And then the propeller is actually, has to be that. Yep, so propeller intersection pieces right there. That's where all 4 of the pieces that we needed to find in order to build the airship, and then we'd have to get back to the actual launch pad. All of us together need to get to the launch pad in order to escape out of the desert. This was a great failure, but hopefully this kind of showed you how the game is played. That's it. That's how you play Forbidden Desert. If you guys like this video, please like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys later on another video. Bye.